Well, hello and welcome to the Confused Breakfast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid?
Yeah.
Hard to beat the ease of the modern era streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your couch. But there was something truly special about driving your metallic mint green 1964 Buick Skylark convertible to Blockbuster, browsing the aisles, picking out a movie by hand, taking it home to watch. On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as kids. My name is Mike Schulte. Joining me, as always, two dudes who are dead on, balls accurate. Sean Pryor and AJ Venz, how the heck are ya?
Is that a scientific term?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you blend.
You blend. Yeah, I'm known to be accurate.
How accurate?
Dead
On
balls.
we're going, Daddy.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Well, boys, on today's episode, we discuss a film that won one Academy Award. This movie is praised by many attorneys and law professors for its accurate depiction of the trial strategy and courtroom procedure. This movie taught us all that it's pretty dang easy to be a lawyer, and that we should all definitely put all of our efforts into it, especially if that makes Marissa Tomei fall in love with you.
Yeah.
We're, of course, talking about 1992's My Cousin Vinny.
Finally.
Well, dang it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another nostalgic journey to the past with The Confused Breakfast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy wherever you are in the world. Take it away, boys.
Well, if you are new to this podcast, we're going to be reviewing it scene by scene with a modern eye. But in order to do that properly, we believe nostalgia is the first thing we got to talk about. So we're going to go to Sean. We want to learn all about the first time Sean ever saw this movie, what his nostalgic rating was, so that we can strip it all away.
VHS.
Whoa!
VHS, goodness gracious, would watch this all the time with my family. Would quote it all of the time. Shocking to think back and believe that I was a fan of a courtroom drama comedy, but it's just that funny. And it even was back then. So I'm gonna say I am a 7.2.
7.2 for Sean. AJ, what about you?
Oh, Daddy. This is TBS special. We're talking Shawshank Redemption, followed by My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
TBS, like, this was on all the time. This whatever syndication it was, TBS, TNT, FX, it was on at some point. AMC, like, it's going to be on at some point. It's gonna be My Cousin Vinny. If you peruse the channels long enough, guys, you will find My Cousin Vinny. And I love that because we would find this movie and there was like no reason for us, like you said, Sean, like there's no reason for us to be like stuck on this movie other than the fact that you've got like Joe Pesci doing Joe Pesci stuff and then Marissa Tomei doing Marissa Tomei things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like just the antics, we'll get into it. The effect that this had on my life in dealing with authoritarian figures is great. This is a great. I love this movie. It probably went over my head, so I'll step back. I'll give this a 7.7 nostalgically.
Nice.
7.7 nostalgically. I'm officially just a piece of shit, and this is 4 in a row.
Damn.
I've never seen. And again, I think it falls into this weird thing where I would have been 10 when this came out. And multiple reasons I wouldn't have seen this. R-rated, I'm 10. I'm not going to see this initially when it comes out. But then I had trouble looking at Marissa Tomei and being like, well, yeah, of course, like Joe Pesci's Marissa Tomei's cousin. Like that's because they're not dating. Of course they're not. And then like I'm a Ralph Macchio fan. I'm a Karate Kid fan. I'm like, nah, that's not my Ralph Macchio.
It doesn't even look like him.
No. And then I'm like, that's not my Joe Pesci. Like, because I'm watching Home Alone 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And so for some reason, I just kind of avoided this. I never paid attention to it. And then as we did this podcast, people kept being like, My Cousin Vinny, My Cousin Vinny. It's like, there's no way.
Yeah,
they probably want us to do it because it's probably stupid and not funny. And so I'm going to be an NA, but we do have Michael Giuliano on the show with us today. He said, funnily enough, the first time I watched My Cousin Vinny was with My Cousin Vinny.
Whoa.
This was one of the movies we'd watch on vacation in Maine. It seemed like every year our family would show up with a new movie to tell the other family about, and vice versa. Even though my cousins were a few years younger than me, I was probably about 9 or 10, they already had this movie practically memorized by the time they showed it to me. I literally had no knowledge of this movie going into it. All I knew is that my cousins were constantly saying, I bet the Chinese food here is terrible, and dead on balls accurate. Despite being the oldest kid there, I still felt like I missed out on more of the jokes information than everybody else, but I still caught more than enough to understand the basics of what was going on. By the end of it, everybody, adults included, were laughing their asses off, and this unofficially became our joint family's favorite movie. Nostalgic rating 7.75. So as a group, a 7.55 nostalgically, which is going to tie this with Office Space in the 68th position for nostalgic.
Okay.
So it is important to note that this was voted on by our Patreon members. If you join patreon.com/confusedbreakfast, one of the perks is you do get to vote on one movie we do every month. This one won 35% of the vote. In second place was Beer Fest, 23%.
Wow.
In third place, There's Something About Mary, 17%. Fourth place, Can't Hardly Wait, 15%. And Joe versus the Volcano, 11%. This was Laura's films that she chose on one of our episodes. So My Cousin Vinny, easy winner. If you don't agree with that, the only way to check it out is to join patreon.com/confusedbreakfast.
Great picks. Great vote.
Well, we're going to strip away all that nostalgia now. We got to go to Sean. We got to learn all the important details of My Cousin Vinny. What do you got on this one, dude?
Produced by Dale Launer and Paul Schiff. Written by Dale Launer. He also wrote Ruthless People, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and Eddie. Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh.
Music by Randy Edelman. He also did the movie Twins, Last of the Mohicans, The Mask, Billy Madison, Indian in the Cupboard. It's back. Anaconda, The Skulls, Mike, Triple X, and Kindergarten Cop, which we've covered.
Nice run.
Cinematography by Peter Deming. He also did Evil Dead 2, fuck yeah, dude. Lost Highway, Scream 2, fuck yeah, dude. Mulholland Drive, and Son-in-Law. We've done that one.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Edited by Tony Lombardo and Stephen E. Rivkin. Directed by Jonathan Lynn. He did The Whole 10 Yards and Clue.
The Whole 10 Yards?
Yep. That is the sequel to The Whole 9 Yards.
The Whole 9 Yards.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were saying The Whole and 10 Yards.
Oh, yeah.
And,
The Whole 10 Yards.
Okay.
Yeah. Cast: Joe Pesci, Marissa Tomei, Ralph Macchio, Mitchell Whitfield, Lane Smith, Austin Pendleton, Bruce McGill, Maury Chaikin, Pauline Myers, James Rebhorn, Chris Ellis, and Fred Gwynn. Writer Dale Launer came up with the idea for My Cousin Vinny when he heard a story about a lawyer who had finally passed the bar their 13th try. Launer then had the idea that it would be funny if someone needed a lawyer but got one that had only passed the bar their 13th try.
That is funny.
Yeah. Launer, we'll see. Launer took a road trip through the South where he had some car troubles, including some repairs and getting stuck in the mud. Inspired by the comedy of Sam Kinison, specifically the way he handled hecklers, Launer was also influenced by interviewing a few DAs who said most things you learn about being a lawyer is not by the books, but actually being in court. For the role of Vinny, there were several possibilities, including Andrew Dice Clay, Danny DeVito, Peter Falk, Robert De Niro, and Jim Belushi. Joe Pesci was cast because he's perfect for the role and based off his comedic strength in Lethal Weapon 2.
Oh,
AJ.
yeah.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
Pesci was cast directly after finishing Goodfellas. For the role of Mona Lisa, Lorraine Bracco and Carol Davis were considered, but after director Jonathan Lynn visited the set of the movie Oscar, directed by John Landis, where he met Marissa Tomei, and she had a small role in that movie. He cast her for the role. Although the studio wanted someone more famous, they eventually relented. Will Smith and Ben Stiller were considered for the roles of Stan and Bill, but
I'm having trouble.
There were concerns about showing a Jewish man and a black man incarcerated.
All the, I mean, like,
Okay.
what?
Yeah. They can do crimes.
It's Alabama, bro.
I don't know.
equal rights here, equal opportunities. They're not great opportunities.
And they were wrongfully.
Yeah,
Okay.
see, you get it.
Should we go more into it?
No.
All right. The film was shot in Georgia, including cities such as Greensboro, Monticello, and Covington. The prison scenes were filmed in an actual working prison in Alto, Georgia, where actual convicts were used as extras. My Cousin Vinny was released March 13th, 1992, and on a budget of $11 million. The film made $64.1 million at the box office. It was nominated for 1 Academy Award for Marissa Tomei in a supporting role, which she deservedly won.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, thanks, Sean. Up next, we got to go to AJ. He's going to let us know what the critics and fans had to say about this movie. What do you got, dude?
Imagine you're a movie. You're prancing along. You get thirsty. You spot a little brook. You put your little deer lips down to the cool, clear water. Bam! The tomato meter! Gross!
That is what it feels like.
Rips your fucking head off. No. 85% certified fresh.
Tied
Damn.
with Elf in the 74th spot of all the movies we've done.
Just the same movie.
Same
It's the
movie
same
per the
thing.
critics.
Fish out of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
87% on the popcorn meter. And sorry. And it's 7.6 on IMDb.
That's in the 56th spot of any movie we've done. Tied with Dazed and Confused, Lethal Weapon, and RoboCop.
Dang.
Great company.
Throwing it out there.
The New York Times, Vincent Canby, not Vincent Gambini, 90 out of 100. My Cousin Vinny is easily the most inventive and enjoyable American film farce in a long time.
Whoa.
Even during those extended patches when it seems to be marking time or when it continues with a running gag that can't stay the distance. The film has a secure and sophisticated sense of what makes a farce so delicious. Yeah, Daddy. Stephen Hunter, Baltimore Sun, 63 out of 100. It's hardly brilliant, but it's easygoing and occasionally quite funny and ultimately satisfying.
That's a 6.
That's a 6. Roger Ebert also thought, that's a 6.
Sounds about right.
Chicago Sun-Times, My Cousin Vinny is a movie that meanders along, going nowhere in particular, and then lightning strikes. I didn't get much involved in it, and yet individual moments in some of the performances were very funny. It's the kind of movie home video was invented for. Not worth the trip to the theater, but slam it into the VCR and you get your rental's worth.
Just slam it in there.
Slam it in.
Yeah.
Dirty bitch.
Fucking. Fuck you. Whore VHS.
Yeah. Yeah. The courtroom comedy in which Joe Pesci tries to save the lives of 2 Utes. This does not have a ranking, and 1 out of 1 people found this helpful, guys. The Boz told us on July 30th of 1998. You guys are really going to love this one, trust me. Joe Pesci tries to save the lives of 2 guys who get caught up in a murder in the heart of Alabama. Ralph Macchio and Mitchell Whitfield are on their way to college when they get arrested for the murder of a convenience store worker. Vinny and his girlfriend, Marissa Tomei, try to work their New York antics on the court system in Alabama. The judge, Fred Gwynn,
Yeah.
doesn't put up with Vinny's tactics, and Vinny gets to spend many happy nights in jail. I know. Shut up. This is Vinny's first case ever, and the movie flows along very cleverly while Vinny tries all the tricks of the trade to get the 2 Utes from being electrocuted. The movie is very funny and will keep you laughing the whole way through. It will definitely make you think about who you choose as a lawyer the next time you're in trouble with the law.
Okay.
Oh!
What a great rating.
It's like one of those. It's like on the back of a VHS, but like handwritten.
He definitely did not write that.
Let's see. 8 out of 10. Screen chemistry, said Boyo2. The actors are great in their parts and convincing as a couple. The movie is your standard fish out of water story, but Pesci and Tomei are so good that you forget the plot is so weak and underdeveloped. Still gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Wow.
Right. I know, right? Here we go. This is what we want, guys. Waste of the plastic it's printed on, said Kim Dino.
It's celluloid.
It's celluloid.
Got him.
I got it. It is weak on ideas. The humor is unoriginal and heavy-handed, and the lead character played with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer. Okay.
Not subtle at all, he means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
All right. I'm back in.
I'm getting it. I'm getting
Okay.
it.
So I would have switched off as soon as I saw the writer using the pits of plot devices, i.e., the character digging himself a hole by having the protagonists each talking about different things, while each believing they're talking about the same. Unfortunately, I was not in control of the TV. And had nowhere else to go.
My mom and dad were in control because I live at their house.
I'm 15,
25.
and I don't have a voice in my home.
I wanted to watch Thomas the Train. My favorite episode was on.
I hate my dad.
He never lets me. He's always watching the stocks. Let's see. Unfortunately, I was not in control of the TV. I had nowhere else to go. But then the writer did the same again about 3 minutes later. After that, I thought it was completely obvious where the film was going. I was wrong. It went even further downhill.
Whoa.
Another just one is a terrible movie. Another one is just not worth your time. Got it. Guys, we've got the Little Lebowski Urban Achievers.
Finally, Jesus.
And
worth our
they
time.
have jumped in to save us from what is given to us from the rest of the internet. We got lots of great folks in here popping in. Walter Fielding. This is a family favorite in my household growing up. My sister would crack us up by reciting Marissa Tomei's deer hunting monologue. Fantastic movie. Not a bit of dialogue is wasted. True ensemble film with Pesci at the helm. Great comedy without a single comic actor in the cast. Just great actors.
It's a good point.
Yeah. Watch a young Marissa Tomei go head-to-head with veteran Pesci, and you understand why she won that Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
Devin Carlisle. What up, dog? I saw it when it was released on VHS at my Uncle John's place. Everyone had an Uncle John, right?
Everybody.
At the perfect age of 10, I was introduced to semi-arguably the universe's most perfect creation, Marissa Tomei. As far as a first viewing, she alone was the only thing I could focus on. Well, her and, is that Herman Munster? All that being said, watch this movie more than a lot of others, and it is for good reason. It's smart, funny as hell. Scene where Vinny arrives at the prison, meets Stanley is one of the best written, acted comedic scenes in history. Velvet burgundy tuxedo with the tails. Thanks to my fellow Patreon members, and especially Laura, for getting this pushed through. Big shout out to my Uncle John, who just kicked cancer's ass.
Fuck yeah,
Congratulations. Heck yes. It was my ability to not tell my mother that he showed me this, that I was then trusted to watch rated R films at my uncle's place. Though it took me until I was in my 20s to forgive him for showing me Phantasm so early in life. But I digress.
Yeah, man. He's a good one, man.
Yeah, you know. Let's see. Mike G. Sometimes when I'm depressed, he watches a reenactment of Marissa Tomei's testimony at the end. Yep. And let's see. Jarrett Layoff just jumping in, dead on, balls accurate. Finally here, endlessly quotable, painfully hilarious. Please talk about the tapes on Joe Pesci's eyes. He's got some we got some other stuff coming up here. Oh, Mike G wanted to jump in here quick too. Ignore my BS. Underrated movie quote moment and quote. Mr. Gambini, that is a lucid, intelligent, well thought out objection. Overruled. Not sure if it's just the perfect deadpan delivery or the way you see the happiness on Pesci's face turn to pure loathing. It always sticks out in my head. Great moment, yes.
Hell yeah.
Well, if you want to join up, have your stuff read on air, your name, your thoughts on our movie, patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. Choose
it.
the Little Lebowski Urban Achiever tier.
Oh, yeah.
Come on board.
Believe me, you'll blend.
Well, Sean and AJ, Brian, members of the listening public, the rest of this episode is going to prove that a movie entitled My Cousin Vinny, released on March 13th, 1992, was a watchable and enjoyable movie back then and is still the same today. The evidence in this episode is going to show that Marissa Tomei deserved her Supporting Actress Award win, and she should have done so much more after this movie. The evidence in this episode is going to show that Joe Pesci inspired a whole new generation of attorneys with his modern-day take of a lawyer in a crusty, old Southern boomer world. You will hear the testimonies of 3 passionate podcast hosts who most likely stole all their commentary and thoughts from other movie podcasts, but you won't know because there are 4,000 of them out there and all have likely already covered this movie in the past. Now let's get down to it. As a listener, your verdict of this movie is going to depend on what you think of the sworn testimony, not what we think. What we think don't count. You're the jury. It's your job to decide what your modern day take is. Now we're going to be asking you to return a verdict of not only a good modern day rating for My Cousin Vinny, but we're also going to ask you for a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts when you're done listening. The prosecution rests. Here we go.
Meeting adjourned.
So scene 1, while driving through rural Alabama, Bill Gambini and Stan Rothenstein are pulled over after stopping at a convenience store. The store owner was shot and killed shortly after they left, and they fit the description of the murderers. After being detained, they make a call to Bill's mother, who sends Billy's cousin, Vincent Gambini, to Alabama because he is an attorney.
We are way down south. And I love how this opening is just establishing that our main characters are not from here.
Yeah.
And like they're looking out the windows and you see like dirt for sale. Crazy Southern people.
Dirt for sale.
Are you kidding me? Like we never have that back in New Jersey, New York, wherever the hell we're from.
It must be short on dirt down here.
I guess.
Hubcaps.
Man, like hubcaps, what are we doing? And then there's like Confederate flags. Like, oh. Yeah.
Have you ever
That's
driven?
actually crazy, yeah.
Have you ever driven through this area, like southern Alabama?
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah.
It's unique. Having not even seen this movie, when I drove through there, I'm like, make sure I don't get pulled over. I was telling myself that because I think it might just be a thing, but it's also like, nah, I don't really want to deal with this.
Yeah.
If I get pulled over down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something about the that uniform mixed with a strong Southern accent that just is intimidating.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you don't want to deal with that.
I don't want to deal with that.
And the way that this comes about too, where it's like he puts his hands are full, so he just puts the thing in his pocket. I've done that so many
Million
times.
times.
I've too.
And I've probably forgotten so many times, you know.
Do you know what I do, Sean? If I'm in a store and I have to put something in my pocket, I like kind of hold it up and try to find like a thing, like a camera, and I try to be like, yeah, no, I know that I'm doing this. I don't feel like I'm making a secret out of this. I will get to it when I get to the counter.
I will get it out.
That's kind of what my move is. And I think you should try that next time.
I don't know if you've heard our top 5 underrated movies yet, but I'm trying not to do that anymore. I'm trying to just steal shit and be like, what the fuck ever. So
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
now that we're on
good call.
camera,
Yeah.
come fucking get me.
Do you guys ever do this? Like, in the grand scheme of things. Now, granted, I know it's like it's like 92, whatever, a little bit ago. But you ever do this where you're debating between something as simple as a can of beans that's 31 cents and one that's 34 cents? It's like 32 cents.
But I like the idea. He's like, you don't always want to go for the cheapest.
Right.
Let's spend maybe 1 more cent to get the second from the bottom cheapest.
Yeah.
That is definitely a good mentality to have. I like that.
That's kind of where I usually do go. I'm not buying the highest end. It's like I'm not paying for the marketing, okay? But at the same time, it's like I'm also not going to the cheapest because like you don't know. There could be something about that penny difference that could be the difference between making it through the rest of this road trip or having to stop 6 times. Just saying.
Well, they're also driving from NYU to UCLA, and they decided this trip is already like 2,700 miles, like 40 hours long.
Oh my God.
In a convertible where the top is never up, and they're just like, Here we go.
There's Tommy Boy in this.
Yes.
The old country town.
But
Raw
they-
dogging it.
But they made the decision. If I'm driving for 40 hours, I don't care to go 4 hours out of my way to take the scenic route. I'm gonna take the best possible route to get there.
Oh, yeah.
They added on about 400 miles and 4 hours onto their trip. So it was a 3,000-mile drive for 45 hours to go from NYU to UCLA down south. When they could have just taken 70 and 80 and just get there as soon as I can. That's a long drive.
That's a lot.
I mean, unless they were like stopping somewhere, not specifically here, obviously.
No.
I don't know. Yeah, that's way too much.
They're on their way to like, oh, we're gonna catch this concert down the way, and then we're gonna shoot on over.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
Nope. They're just growing their Ralph Macchio mustaches out that he's been working on since Karate Kid. I have a feeling that's about 6 years of growth for Ralph Macchio, and he's
Yeah.
like, check this out.
I'll tell you
Poor
what,
guy.
I actually really like Ralph Macchio in this role.
Yeah.
I think he actually is really, really good. It's a perfect intermediary role. And like this is, you can kind of still, he's really coming out of it and like kind of growing up. He is like college, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think he fits it very well. Whereas I think Michael Whitfield definitely looks like somebody in his mid-30s playing a high schooler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, I see that.
That the hair just is like it's back here and it's
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, man.
Sorry,
Not-
dude.
not
I just
quite.
don't buy it, man.
I don't.
That was a style at the time, you know?
Sean, you had a good point about them. I didn't think about it that way, but one of my notes fits that well. Is you're talking about them driving in a place where they are definitely not from. That they're from New York, so they probably don't really drive in rural areas from
Yeah.
what we're understanding. There's that scene. It's very subtle. I don't know if they meant to show that, but they pass the Final Destination truck.
Oh yeah.
They go, and
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's a no passing zone with clearly a curve ahead sign that they pass. Like the worst possible place to pass a car. But I guess maybe it was the Final Destination truck, so they're like, "What are our choices?"
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we've got these woods coming right into us when the thing crashes, or head-on collision with the car. Right?
Yeah.
That's an easy choice.
It's like, do you just deal with potential instant death, or do you risk crossing the black cat of driving?
Correct. Yeah, and I mean,
What do you do?
driving for a living, if I was that truck driver and I saw them pass me like that, I'd be like, motherfucking stupid people. God damn.
Fucking out of
This
towners.
is just fucking stupid. God, you deserve to die.
You
Fuck
deserve
these
it.
guys.
But then as they come by, they're going like this,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Okay, I'll give them a toot."
Yeah, all right.
All right, cool kids.
Yeah, they're having fun. They're having fun.
Stop doing that. Don't do that again.
Yeah, just saying. Hey,
But when
you know.
he's like, they're freaking out because the cop's behind him. He's like, I've been there, man. Like, like, every time there's a cop behind me, I drive worse trying to drive the best. You know what I mean?
Dude, like I'll tell you this right now. I was just going on the, I was driving. Harris is like falling asleep in the back, so he's like he just fell asleep. I was like, well, I'm not going to take my exits because I'm going to hit those road bumps. I'm going to keep going. I keep going, and like I'll just go up and turn around on the next one. It'll be fine, perfect. And like then there's like traffic moves over. There's a cop. There's like lights flashing and stuff, and there's a cop like waving people hard over. And like he looks directly at me because I'm trying to get over and stuff, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh God, don't come after me!" I'm like, any cops, I don't want to deal with you. Like, even though I know that guy's not going to jump in his car like right now and like leave these people stranded, I'm still terrified. Like somebody's waiting in the wings to come and arrest me because I didn't move over fast enough.
Dude, it's a bad enough feeling to just have a cop behind you,
Yeah.
but then to know that you've done something wrong.
Yeah.
Like, not that it's a terrible thing, but they established that tuna's in his pocket.
Yeah, fuck, forgot to pay for it.
And shit, like, dude, you're in the South. Like,
The
we
laws
like,
are archaic down here.
Yes. That's terrifying. I like how they set this up. And me watching this for the first time, I'm thinking that they're actually going to get in trouble for stealing the tuna.
Yeah.
And that's why they're on trial
Really?
later on in the
Gets
Oh,
out.
yeah, for
I
sure.
love that.
Gets
No
out
clue.
with a shotgun. You're like, whoa,
Yes, dude.
for tuna?
That's a great shot of them sitting in the little convertible with their hands up, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a great shot, man.
You know, that's a great point because, take it back to classic AJ, right? Like, how many times do you think I saw this movie without actually seeing the introduction?
Of course.
I mean, I saw it like because it's TBS, it's syndication, it's popping on after school or something like that, and I'm never catching the beginning of this movie, like really seeing what's going on. I always just know that it's like they're there for like murder. But now hearing you say that, watching it for the first time, what a special thing to be able to feel.
It's a cool setup.
Yeah.
It's a really cool setup. I mean, I didn't know what to think about this. I definitely thought Marissa Tomei was Vinny's cousin, because why would they ever be together?
Yeah, no, they're family.
There's no way that they're together. But yeah, it was actually really fun. This is one of those movies where sometimes you're watching it for the first time, you're like, fuck, okay, got to get through it for the podcast. This was like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
It really works.
It was a very fun start.
Very subtle things too. It's not like, the camera will, like, even like the tuna thing will kind of show us that he's putting it in his pocket, but it's not like dwelling on it.
Right.
And they just bring it up casually later when they leave. It's not like, huh, close up of the tuna. Remember the tuna? Like, you fucking idiots.
Oh.
It's not spoon feeding the audience. It's just like, you'll figure it out. Like, we're showing you enough.
Yeah.
And then you get great comedy where somebody's thinking one thing and the other one's thinking the other. Like the reviewer said, they do that a lot in this movie, but I think it works every single time. And then you get this one with the sheriff, and he's saying, like, why didn't you get out and call the police? He's like, he's my friend. Like, it's in the context of talking about murder. He's like, no, yeah, I'm not gonna do that to my friend.
Yeah. He's like, well, why didn't you do something about it? He's like, I didn't know about it until we were already gone. Yeah. And he's like, I didn't even know what was happening. He's like, I didn't know it's about till later on in the car. Why didn't you get out of the car? It's like, he's my friend. You're right, dude. The fact that they are, it's a great through line kind of through the movie of like there's two big through lines here. One of my favorite is coming up. The guy that they play pool, she plays pool against.
Yeah.
Amazing through line joke that I just will get to. But this is also a great like kind of like reserved through line, talking about things that the other one doesn't know what you're
just
talking about.
Just the communication breakdown.
Yeah, like nobody ever said what they're actually talking about.
Yeah.
Everyone's making the assumption, and it is a great through line for the movie.
And why wouldn't you, as Stan and Bill?
Yeah.
Yes, Bill.
Stan and Bill, why wouldn't you be thinking like, oh, this is over the tuna? Like, that is something that we accidentally did. Like, I'm sorry. Like, they don't know about, like, why would they know about the murder that just happened probably right after they fucking left?
Because again, I didn't think about it like that we have up to that point, we aren't given anything that there's been a murder. There's never been a moment where we've been
That's true.
made to think, and I just forget about that because I've seen the movie so many times.
Yeah.
But we still have not been given the point. It's not like you heard faintly as they're driving away a couple of gunshots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We didn't get any. There's nothing to there's no inclination. So it's a very fun thing for them to just be like, for that final realization of when he's like, "Hey, Bill, I'm Sheriff Farley." Say, "How we doing?" He's like, "Yes, sir. Yeah, I did. It's a stupid thing to do. I'm so sorry." Just like it's like. Because in the back of your head,
it just kind of happened.
It just kind of happened. I don't know. I was an accident. I didn't mean to do it, but it was a stupid thing to do. I apologize. Thinking that you're just talking about like a 20-some cent can of tuna. In the back of your head, you're just thinking like, why the fuck am I actually here?
Yeah.
Like,
maybe they're just trying to make a thing out of this. Like maybe scare us a little bit. A couple Yankee boys.
yeah.
It's just a funny thing.
And he's like, accessories. That's a big thing down here. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a big thing down here. Oh, yeah.
That is great though, man. Because as a viewer, the first time you're watching this, you are Bill and Stan in multiple. That's why these work so well. The back and forth of we don't know there's a murder, so we're just like Stan.
Yeah.
And just like when we'll get to that scene later when Joe Pesci shows up in the prison cell. We don't know who Joe Pesci is.
Yeah.
We don't know. So we are Stan going, what the fuck is this guy talking about, man? It's pretty genius.
Well, it's your ass, not mine. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you should be down on your knees right now.
I'm pretty sure that Bill Gambini is somehow, some way, like a twin of Daniel LaRusso, because there is no way that that's not Mrs. LaRusso on the other end of that phone.
I know.
Wait,
Ma, no,
Ma.
Ma.
murder, Ma, no, Ma, we didn't do it.
We didn't do it.
I don't know. It was like,
They're at least cousins.
oh yeah,
They have to be.
something like this, like have the same father or some shit. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, yeah, I want this to be a thing, really, really
That's
bad.
great. He is pretty much that. He's Daniel LaRusso all grown up, having lost in karate, having lost the Hill Valley tournament and
Right.
moved back to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that is who this guy is.
And now he's going back again to UCLA. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he's going back
He
to
knows. He's
California
like,
again.
I spent a couple years out there. I know all
I've
about
been out
it.
there. I probably still got. I know a few people out there still. They're still there. It'll be fine. We'll bring Stan out.
It'll be fine.
Be fine.
This is pretty great though too. Like they don't seem to have any concern for how bad it is that they're talking shit to everybody in the cop shop while they're giving the phone call to them. Talking about everybody's like inbred and how it's a setup, and they're doing this right in front of the cops. This is not a good start for the boys
Yeah.
in this
No.
whole thing. This is not good.
Not at all.
You gotta mind your P's and Q's. No matter what scenario you're in here, whether you think it's for tuna or for murder, okay? You just mind your P's and Q's. You're in the cop shop.
Yes.
Just take it easy, man. Just be like, oh yeah, I don't know. A big misunderstanding down here. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not blaming anybody.
Nope.
it's just
Misunderstanding, and we're here to
just a
help them
misunderstanding.
find the real killers here.
Yep. That's just what we're here to do. Yep.
It's funny you say that because that was actually the working title of this movie is For Tuna or For Murder.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
The working
Was it?
title.
Was it? I like My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
just
a
leave
good
it at
one.
that.
It's a good one.
My Cousin Vinny. That takes us
We
into
got a
scene
lawyer
two.
in the family.
Arriving in Alabama with his girlfriend Mona Lisa Vito, he visits the boys in jail, and although agreeing to take the case, he has no experience. Gambini and Vito are rudely awakened by a factory in the morning. Gambini visits Judge Haller and is able to fool him into thinking he has actual experience. As court proceedings begin, Gambini's ignorance of basic court procedure and abrasive, disrespectful attitude towards the judge gets him in trouble immediately, and he has to spend the night in jail.
Oh yeah, you blend. I deservedly is almost an understatement that she won this Oscar because I think this is the definition of supporting role, where Joe Pesci obviously is a incredible performer and pulls this role off like no other. Like his comedic timing is really great, but I think a lot of it wouldn't work without her. I think that a supporting role is like the other leg for the main role to stand on, and she is that throughout this entire thing. I think she's so good in this.
It's a great point, man. And actually, I had to look it up because there was a little bit of controversy about her win. Did you read about that? Somebody said that, so Jack Palance presented it. And apparently there was a controversy that he read the wrong name and that it wasn't supposed to be her. It has never been like corrected or outright said, yes, he did read the wrong name. I mean, they let her keep it. So it might just be hearsay, but I did have to go back to be like, well, this is a really great role, but who did she go up against? Because she was kind of an unknown.
Yeah.
Here's who she won against. Judy Davis in a movie called Husbands and Wives, Joan Plowright in a movie called Enchanted April, Vanessa Redgrave in a movie called Howard's End, and Miranda Richardson in a movie called Damage. I have no clue what's going on here.
I don't know any of those
I don't
movies.
know any of those people or movies. What is
Stiff
going
competition that year for best female supporting actress.
So it does feel to me like she did deserve it, but it also feels to me like she got lucky in who she was against.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that
Even put the politics into it. Like
Sure.
she's a young actress that hasn't done her time.
Yeah.
She doesn't deserve it.
And so, who would you say presented?
Jack Palance.
Jack Palance. He probably knew those other nominees and was like, he just had those on top of mind, holding space with those actors.
He was holding space on for sure.
Are my number one.
Brilliant. Yeah, so he probably had them on mind and was just like, his mind went there and his mouth didn't catch up. You know.
Can I ask you about the soundtrack and the score? Because number one is my least favorite part of this movie is the soundtrack and the score. But there's no way that Vinny Gambini and his amazing girlfriend is listening to this song in their car pulling up into town. because they imply that this is diegetic.
Yeah.
That when the car turns off, this music ends. There's no way that they are listening to this song. And see, you don't even know what song it is because you're like, it's so unmemorable. This weird 90s song that is playing in their car. It's not possible.
I'm trying
What do
to
you
think
think
of
they'd
what
be
it is.
listening to then?
can't
It's
remember.
it's like a of the time sort of like mix between pop and blues, right?
It's just weird, yeah.
It's just weird. What do you think they would be listening to?
Like old Italian operas.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, like they gotta be listening. They gotta be listening to the radio. This is also before the times of like having a book of CDs.
Well,
They had the radio. Like,
but
this-
so then that goes even further. This song's not on the radio in Southern Alabama.
you don't think so?
No.
Okay. Well,
It's it to be square.
yeah.
Like, come on.
I'm going to look up the #1 single of the year in 1992.
But that's the thing is it's like this song, but maybe at that point it's Alabama's break into the 90s, you know, like that kind
Yeah.
of thing, like today's favorite.
What,
All right.
what would you have thought if it was like, I fought the law and the law won? Like,
Don't
little,
like that one
little on
either.
the nose? Okay.
Here's some of the top 10 from 1992. End of the Road by Boyz II Men. Baby Got Back by Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Oh yeah.
Jump by Criss Cross. Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton.
Oh, no.
And Under the Bridge, Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't see him listening to any of those.
Yeah.
So I think it's Italian opera.
I just
And I'm sorry to be that guy, but I just feel
I don't
like
think
that's-
there's time for music when you have these incredible like big personalities, you know. I think they'd be talking the entire time.
Yeah, so
I
just
think
don't
they
make
are
it diegetic. Make it just like a song, part of the score or
Sure.
something. You know?
Yeah, you're probably right. You are. You know that they have been yammering for the entire fucking trip. Just won't stop talking, like just going off on each other, but also getting each other riled up and worked up and hot and bothered by doing so.
They've stopped 3 times along the way.
Oh
That's-
yeah. Like
we famous for our mud.
we're famous for our mud in the tide. But like the way he goes about, he never comes right out and says like that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. You're fuck. He's like mud in the tires. He's like, let me ask you a question. How exactly do you get mud inside the tires? He's like, he wants to take it to a literal standpoint and just be like, what do you mean? It's like, well, it's a figure of speech. He's like, he's getting inside the inside wall of the tires. You get mud in there and it makes you throws off. It's like, you ever heard of that, mud in the tires? She's like, no, never heard of it. It's like, she knows everything about cars. And then again, another great through line. She knows everything about cars.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
She's a woman. What could she know about cars?
Yeah.
Dressed like that? Come on. She we've never been under a hood.
She
dude.
could check under my hood.
Yeah, that's the only hood she can look under.
That's right.
Peel back my hood.
She knows how to take my pants off, but I bet she doesn't know how to open a car hood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rabble.
Yeah.
Man.
Check the trunk while you're at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, check the oil.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Fuel inject.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Pause the track.
Show me
Yeah.
your headlights.
What do you
Cars.
What do you think about the score of this movie though?
I think nothing of it.
It
I
just
don't
it
remember
feels slightly out of place. In fact, I didn't know that this was rated R until about like halfway through because of how like do 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 like the
Yep.
score was very kids movie.
Yeah.
Did it feel that way to you?
It feels that it's got that. It's like somehow it's like a more playful Lethal Weapon
okay.
to me is what it is. Like that. It's like, okay,
It
we're just
didn't-
bopping around town.
It didn't stand out to me at all. So
Yeah.
it must have just served the film just
Right, it just was
fine.
who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just move on.
For
Get
me
to the
anyway,
next scene.
yeah.
What about this scene, man? This is pure joy for me when Vinny does arrive to the jail. I could see how people would hate this gag. This like, oh god, we already did it at the cop shop, and now we're gonna do it here.
First
This,
of all, he
like,
gives the guard a tip.
Dude, I fucking lost it every time because I always forget
oh my
he does
god,
it.
he gives him a tip.
He tips him. I forget every single time. Because that's the best and maybe the only way you could start this gag for it to really
my
take
God,
off.
you're right. Yeah,
that he
because
tips the guard.
Yeah.
pretend you're Stan watching this going, the fuck?
Like he gave him money to show him to their room.
Yeah,
you
I asked
know?
where the new guys were. They brought me here.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
Anyway, Mike, sorry.
no, he called. I mean, just some of these lines. That cute little guy. Like he refers to him as a cute little guy. You know, maybe I'll start with you. Let him sleep a little
Maybe
bit.
start with you.
Hey, I don't blame you. If I was in your situation, I'd want to get through the whole thing as quickly and with as little pain as possible. So let's try our best to make it a simple in and out procedure. Maybe we should spend a couple minutes together, get acquainted before we get to it. I mean, it just goes on and on to where I can see how you would hate this, but because it's Pesci and because it's the situation, I don't know, man. This is awesome.
It's either me or them. Either way, you're getting fucked.
either way, you're getting fucked.
I'm doing you a favor. You're getting me for nothing, you little fuck. You're getting me for nothing.
You should be down on your knees. This way.
No, I think I'm all here for it. Like, especially if they set it up. He's like, you know what happens to guys in prison?
Yeah.
Because it's so clever that it's just so much fun. And like you could say maybe this movie's literally. I think towards the end they kind of get rid of. Like we'll get to it, but this movie becomes a courtroom drama.
Yes, it does.
You
Yes,
know?
it does.
Yeah,
It's kind of quirky leading up to all that fun stuff.
I was laughing out loud every single bit, to be honest with you. Like I think it's fucking brilliant. It's just great writing.
It is. It's again. I'll never get over the fact that he slips that tip to the guard.
Didn't even.
Just
I saw it. I saw it
yeah.
with my eyes, but I didn't think
Just
anything
a
weird
detail
about
you
that.
didn't need, but
But,
And that
but
seems like
you
a Pesci
absolutely
thing.
should. Yeah.
Like he probably goes, it'd be funny if I just gave him
God,
$5.
that's so funny. Like, but like them being in it, and then you get into this kind of back and forth of then they really actually know who each other is.
Yeah.
right?
Vinny Bag of Donuts.
Vinny Bag of Donuts, Gambit.
Does he ever get called Bag of Donuts at any other point in the
No,
movie?
I don't
he's
think so. I love it though.
That's so great, though.
I did have to look that up. Apparently, that's just a term that is thrown around in like old Italian culture for somebody who just doesn't have anything to offer.
That's funny.
Apparently, that's what that has to do.
Just a
but
bag of donuts.
yeah, and some people are like, no, it's actually when you bring a bag of donuts, you get called that. I was like, okay.
Huh.
Vinny Bag of Donuts.
Brian
Never
Bag of Donuts. Yeah.
When he's like going through his credentials, he's like, well, surely you've done like burglary, B&E, and stuff like that. He's like, no, none of that either.
No, none of
Just
that.
so matter of
Confidence
fact.
in it. He's like confident in his
No.
responses of how not confident
But
he is.
it's true though too. Where he's like, yeah, you gonna pay a fucking assload of money? Do you got money to pay for a really good lawyer? Because
I don't. But listen, if your son is in Alabama being framed for murder, and you believe, I would think most parents would think that if their son said, "I didn't do it," that
Yeah.
they didn't do it.
of course,
I don't care how poor you are. You don't send your cousin Vinny, who's never tried a case, down to do it. You figure it out.
Right.
You start a GoFundMe. You do something to like raise the money to figure it out later to get your kid the best possible attorney.
well, how long have you been practicing? Almost 6 weeks.
Almost 6 weeks.
Almost like
Almost
5 weeks.
That
and
means 5 weeks in a day.
That means
That's exactly what
that means. It was definitely like 5 weeks when he started the trip down
Yes.
to go.
Yes. This is what that means.
6 weeks includes the road trip down for him of study of being a lawyer, and by the way, 6 years since he graduated, and then when he graduated law school, but then took the bar. 6 years. Is it like what? Like 2 times? Not like 6. 6 times. 6 years. Doing it 6 weeks. Fuck yeah, dude.
Hell
This
yeah,
is a
man.
bad. You don't want this. You don't want to be in a jail in Alabama being framed for a murder with this situation.
Yeah. You got to
don't want this.
You got to humanize Stan a little bit.
Yeah.
If you're Stan and your buddy is like, no, he's family though. It's like, dude, we're not going like this is. I don't think of a good comparison. It's like we're not like splitting a hotel room. Okay, it's like, well, he's family. I don't want to leave him out there out to dry. It's like, no,
you do.
We could be fried on a chair that's faulty. Okay, please, for the love of God, can we look into some other options?
Where's Stan's parents?
Dude.
Stan's parents are on a world trip to like Chile.
No, I don't want to call them. They'll get upset. It's like, what?
I'm guessing Stan's family has money, right? Are we guessing that?
It seems, if that's the case.
I'm just saying.
Not to. Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna go there. But yeah.
Well, with the name like Rothstein.
Thank you.
AJ immediately went.
Thank you. Mike, go. He's not gonna do it. I'll take it.
That's fine. You know what?
Right? We don't know anything about his family, man.
You're right.
And also, why do the parents not come down for any of this trial?
Yeah, true. Maybe they're on their way. And
No,
they get nabbed for murder along the way.
How much time do you think passes from this to the end of this movie? Like, what are we to believe? A month?
Well,
maybe?
it's a couple of weeks. It's like a week.
I couldn't get off
Something like
work.
that. Yeah, I think.
Like it's literally like about like a week or so, because you think of like all the nights that they stay in town and like jumping from hotel to cabin.
Yeah.
Every night is documented.
Yeah.
I mean, technically. So
Well, and you don't get the parents, and then you also don't apparently get any like media. This seems like a big deal. Wouldn't you think that like most media outlets in big cities would like send reporters and TV news crews to this murder and
Maybe.
trial? That first time they're in the courtroom, there's nobody there. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, damn.
And they even talk about it. It's like this is a big shock for like this community.
Yeah.
Like it's not like this is a common occurrence down here that somebody goes in and shoots a good old boy. You know what I mean?
The community's too busy picketing the execution of someone else, like Horton or something like that.
Yeah.
They're not even caring about the poor shop guy that got killed.
Yeah. Like it should be like a big shock to this community. It's a small town, like you would think. You're right. Like there would be something else going on. Like it does make me wonder though about this Norton guy.
Norton, yeah.
Yeah,
That
because
doesn't really go anywhere, does it?
No, it's like it's really just honestly that whole thing lives out just so they can like dim the lights. They're like, oh, there goes
It's
the
the
esteemed
looming
Norton.
effect of what might happen if Vinny
Okay.
does not pull this off.
Yeah.
And maybe the sense that even these guys are clearly picketing this Horton thing because maybe he really didn't do it and it's not effective.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, exactly.
They're trying to get it overturned and they can't even get it overturned. So what's
Exactly.
Vinny gonna do?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
man.
I guess that is fairly effective. then.
Vinny's just one man. They're out there with signs and shit. you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
What about Gwyn?
Fred Gwynn. I think he's incredible in this.
This might be one of my favorite things he's ever done. Obviously, we know Herman Munster.
Of course. Yeah.
Like Fred Gwynn, what an absolute, like it's right up there in like the same sense. He's up there like kind of like a Peter Boyle to me. Like Peter Boyle could have also done this in a similar way. But Fred Gwynn, that ominous tone that
Yeah.
he just has, and that look, that serious look, and he's a big guy.
He's
Yeah.
6'5".
Big guy, like tall, like imposing figure, especially over somebody like Joe Pesci. You know, like what a performance, man! And apparently his last
This was his last feature film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before he
his-
passed.
Man, it's just what a shame. What an absolute treasure.
He's perfect for it. I love his staunchness of his like, you don't come into my court dressed like that kind of shit, or you don't say words like that in front of me. I love their interaction too. He's like, any murder cases? Oh yeah, it's so many. He's like, what was the outcome? He's like, you win some, lose some.
lose. It's just like it's like this isn't the time to be cavalier. Like, it's like, oh well, sorry.
He's so imposing, and the thing that I liked the most about it, in the sense that I didn't like it, is that they're trying to paint the picture of the judge being bad.
Mm-hmm.
When the judge is follow, he likes things the way he likes it. He's worked his whole life to get to this position. we shouldn't be mad at the judge for fucking Vinny Bag of Donuts being a piece of shit in his courtroom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
but that's how the 90s portray things. Like, come on, judge, lighten up. He's trying to do his best. It's like, no, he's not.
The truth and nothing but. I'm trying to have that in my courtroom. You
Yeah.
know, I'm trying to have professionalism. There's 2 lives on the line. You know.
Later on, when he asks him about following procedure, he's, but judge, they didn't do it, and he's like, listen, I know you're in the unique position of defending someone who says they didn't do it. It's like such a great line delivery of like, yeah, of course you suck, and of course they didn't do it. That's not what we're here to decide. We're here to just go through our procedures.
Yeah.
Please just do it. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
All we're getting to this point is whether or not it is a guilty or a not guilty plea.
Guilty?
We
or
are not here
guilty?
to discuss why you think they are going to say what they're going to say. The next words out of your mouth better be guilty or not guilty, or else you'll be in contempt of court. Now, guilty or not guilty? I think I get the picture. It's like,
No, I don't think you do.
I find you in contempt. He's actually being overly nice to this guy.
Giving him a lot of leeway.
You say these words and only these words, and that's all I want to hear.
A lot of it.
What don't you get about
That's the best when he does. He goes, the trial will begin next week. Take this man in custody. What? He's like, holy shit, this actually happens?
You know you're going to have to bail me out, right? It's like to Marissa
Yes,
Tomei.
of course.
Oh, dude. And that again, that leads into, well, I had the $200, but then I had to go cash the traveler's checks. And this, it's that moment in the pool hall. Are we there yet?
Let's wait on that one.
Okay.
I did have a question for you guys when they do go to this diner. And there are 3 options: breakfast,
Yes.
lunch, or dinner.
Can I just say real quick?
Yeah.
Huge fan.
I
Big
like
fan
it.
of this.
Yes.
In fact, I like that because it's clearly obvious. Like breakfast would be, I'm assuming breakfast is just bacon and eggs and toast.
Yeah.
Lunch is probably a burger, and dinner's like maybe like a steak,
Yeah.
or like a chicken without a sandwich kind of
Yeah.
a thing. What are you picking?
Out of those,
Let's say right now you had your choice of breakfast, lunch, or dinner
breakfast.
for the next week. That's
Oh.
all you could eat.
Breakfast.
Yeah.
I'd probably do lunch.
I think I'm a lunch guy.
I'm a lunch
Because
guy.
lunch is going to be your sandwich and your side salad and
Yeah.
fries, maybe, right?
Right. And that's where I'm at. If this is the place, I mean, I'm going to be mixing it up, right? Because, like, these are the places in these small towns. It's like, no, you just go there.
Yeah.
And that's why the menu is what it is.
Yes.
Because, no, you just come here.
You just
He's like,
go there.
and you just pick one, and
can
then
I
we're
get
done.
extra pickles? And he's like, no.
Yeah.
You get 3 pickles
You
on
get
your thing.
3
and that's
pickles.
it.
Not a chance. No, not a chance.
But I think I'm a lunch guy. I love, though, that, like, honestly, though, when he sets that breakfast plate down, like, I think you're supposed to have kind of a moment of, like, ugh.
Yeah.
But, like,
No.
he sets it down, I'm just like, all right.
Yeah.
It's
Hell
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
were they trying to imply that it was going to be bad?
well, I mean, almost everything on there is whiter than the plate it sits on.
Yes.
But at the same time, so bland, okay, it could come across as bland, but you're talking eggs, grits, and bacon. I'm in.
freshly cooked in front of you
Yeah.
with lard.
The lard.
Wow.
Big scoop
You
of
guys
lard.
you guys down here heard about the ongoing cholesterol problem in this country?
We're famous for our grits.
Well, let's do scene 3 then. Oh, yeah, go
sorry. I
ahead.
love how she takes a picture of him as he takes a bite.
He's got to keep going with the grits, man.
Ooh, here's a prop.
I got to get it before you guys get it. I mean, that's clearly going to be my prop. I love the pink camera. I know that Jarrett didn't want it, but Devin Carlisle also wanted the Lisa's camera.
Right.
He also wants all the pics that came with it, especially the case cracker, me, in the shower.
His suit, the one that when he ruins his one with the mud.
I
The
think
one
he
he
did
gets.
pretty good in that, man.
Thank you.
That's also what Jarrett wanted. He wanted the crushed velvet
Hell yeah.
suit. Yeah, great call.
I want his collection of ties. Because they're just some of the worst
They're
ties.
awful.
Pretty damn
The
bad.
like the like pocket watches that are on one, then it's like pens and like
piano keys or something.
Dude,
For no reason.
they're the worst ties.
It's basically a collection of ties you have as like a second grader.
Yeah.
That somebody gave to you. He's like, you're going to wear this to your first communion. Sorry,
Correct.
it's got hockey pucks on it.
Yeah, you're gonna love it.
You're going to love it.
It'll be a real big hit.
So scene 3, after getting bailed out, Vinny confronts a man who stiffed Mona Lisa out of $200. In the initial hearing, Vinny does not cross-examine any of the witnesses and is thrown in contempt again. After Vinny's poor showing at the hearing, Stan wants to hire a public defender. Vinny tries to buddy up to the prosecutor, Trotter. He also begins to work on the case, chatting with witnesses.
When he is getting out of the prison, she's bailing him out, and she's like, "You're gonna fuck this up, aren't you?" Like, he's like, "I'm learning as I go." Learn as you go.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Somebody just gotta learn as you go. It's like 2 people are gonna die.
It's actually pretty interesting that I guess that is how it goes. I mean, that is how it is for my profession of real estate. Like you take your real estate courses and you take your real estate test, but that doesn't teach you how to actually sell real estate. You need to then get with a brokerage to learn what are the local protocols and how do you learn this. So it was really cool to actually learn that about law, that, he's like, I don't actually know how to perform in a courtroom.
Yeah.
Because all I know is the law. I don't know what you're supposed to say when you or stand up when you. I don't know those things yet.
It's true, and it says. I think he even said. He says at this point, it's like, well, what do they? What did you learn in law school? And he's like procedures, like
Law.
like protocols, whatever, and not this stuff. But also, this isn't when you should learn it.
No.
You should be like third, fourth on a case or something and watching from behind the thing while this is going on.
That's the only thing I don't like about the 90s in general. I like the 90s, but movies basically said, no, you can do it. You just got to put your mind to it. Like, oh, yeah, sure, the Mighty Ducks can totally beat the Hawks. You just got to try real hard and get some trick plays. It is kind of telling you that, no, don't worry. Law's actually pretty easy. And I don't like that aspect of it because there's no reason he should be on this case, and there's no reason that he should win this if we're talking about real life scenarios.
But
right?
I guess so. But like, if it's really his personality that wins it over, and just like him realizing this town's lack of I guess like simple things, or like lack of excitement as well, because this is the only exciting thing, and like whoever's tangentially a part of this quote unquote crime that they've quote unquote committed is being like, oh yeah, I definitely saw them peel shit out of the fucking thing, when they didn't. They just want to be a part of something, And he's like, I can see through that.
Right.
And he can see through that because he's probably got a lot of street smarts.
Right.
And I really appreciate that about this movie. Yeah.
Just on that note, like I want to make the note about, like, it's when he's explaining it to Bill, like with the cards, the deck of cards, right? And he's showing him, he's like, they're going to build this out of bricks. It's like, and I think it's a great analogy, and it's a great show of like, okay, now I can kind of buy in, because we're also not in on Vinny right now. We're in the same boat as Bill and Stan, but like he does come in and he makes this point about with the cards, and he's like, and everything he's going to show you is like that they've got this one, but it all has to be bullshit because you're innocent.
Yeah,
it all has to be, everything about what he's going to build in this case has to be fabricated because you are innocent.
Yeah.
So that's all we need to do, and that's what we have to dismantle it. And it's a really great setup for what he ends up doing.
Yeah, the burden of proof is on the prosecution.
Right.
Which is, I think, a lot harder to do than defend, right?
Yeah.
I think, I don't know.
I think because you have to prove without a reasonable doubt
Yeah.
that this did happen, where all the defense needs is one thing to be like, well, that's not true.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you didn't find the murder weapon? So like, what are we going to do there?
Yeah.
This card trick scene's interesting because I mean, like, it was all one take. It was an actual card trick. Like, they don't cut away from him.
Right.
He does. And I mean, can you? Am I crazy in seeing exactly how he did it?
I think I saw it. Does he drop the card?
You can kind of see when he goes sideways. He's got 2 cards in his hand, and then he goes down like that and drops one. So were they trying to show, like, of course, like he's not a magician, but he's gonna sell it because of the story that Bill told earlier?
Yeah.
Or did they really want us to be like, whoa, like VHS style? Like, I couldn't tell there were 2 cards, and holy
there you
shit.
go. Like,
I don't know what they were going for there.
well, I think they're just going for the fact that he like he says, you don't pull the wool over the eyes of a Gambini.
Yeah.
And just like,
So does that implying that Bill was going, oh yeah, I saw you do the card trick?
well, I think it's implying that, like, I think it's just him letting him know, like, we know what's going on.
Yeah.
We know that he's full of shit. Just like the magician Bill tells Stan
Yes,
about.
right.
Yeah.
We know he's full of shit. We have to, and we can prove it. We
Okay.
can do this.
Okay.
I think it's just a confidence play. Speaking of confidence, one of my most favorite through lines of this entire fucking thing is the pool.
JT.
JT. This is one of the greatest guys. Like, him going in there, all the confidence in the world to this freaking place, and that guy cleaning off the freaking chicken leg.
Dude, in one fucking bite. I mean, AJ, you've taught me how to eat thighs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just undo the.
You spread them up. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that too.
Wow, wow.
And,
Don't please, if you did cut to the video camera close up of AJ on that, just don't.
Extra buffalo
At that
sauce.
point, just don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, you just take the one
Yeah.
piece of chicken off and you.
yeah.
That's how you do it.
You take one bone out, you can clean it off. It's real easy. It's real simple. I get where he's going, but an entire chicken leg.
Drumstick, man. Oh, damn.
Man, oh man. Anyways,
It's a great joke that he sees the guy in the neck brace.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very underappreciated, subtle joke because he had said he'd been practicing personal injury
Yes.
for the last couple weeks. So he immediately was like, "Did you get hurt? Did you get hurt on the job at your home?" Shit.
He's at home. He's like, and then he walks back over to him. He's like, so when you got hurt, was it in your home or somebody else's home? This is my home. He's like, damn, okay.
And then they let it
They
go.
just let it go.
So you know who played JT, right?
God, he looks
Is
really
that Bruce
familiar.
McGill?
That is Chris Ellis.
Yeah, that's right.
Per the Jarrett Layoff Confused Breakfast actor database, this is his 6th role
Damn.
that he has been in. Chris Ellis has been in Armageddon, Con Air, Days of Thunder, Addams Family Values, That Thing You Do, because he's the dad in That Thing You Do, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is his 6th role that he's been
No,
in.
he was.
No, he's a producer.
yeah,
he's the guy in the
in the van.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yes.
That is him.
Chris Ellis subtly climbing the Confused Breakfast
He's
actor database.
That
Mount
guy
Rushmore.
in every movie.
That guy.
Yeah.
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 Love
It's
seeing him.
$200, dude. When we have this through line, and it's like he walks in, he says, and again, he's never coming right out to say anything. Vinny never does. It is always well, I'm here to collect the $200. You guys played a game, I'm here to collect for it. It's like, well, how about I just kick your ass? Oh, you want to renegotiate? You're negotiating. See what? I'm a lawyer. Well, us lawyers, we call that negotiating. Like him just spinning this, talking his way, just jabbing him 1,000 times with his words, and like loosening him up, and then he gets to the point. He's like, "No, I'll just kick your ass, and then I'll take the $200. That's what I'll end up doing." And he says, "You have $200." The fact that he says, "Do you have $200 so I can kick your ass and take it," is such a ballsy move. It's so great. Like it. And then the fan it out. It's like, fan it out. Let me see it. It's $200.
It's $200.
I fucking love it so much.
$200.
How do I know that that's not a 20 wrapped or a bunch of ones wrapped in a 20?
It is a really good through line, and it doesn't necessarily go anywhere, but it's just nice. It's nice in between cuts of some of our big scenes that we're looking at.
It's like some comic relief inside of, honestly, what gets to be some very serious moments.
Yeah.
To be honest, especially the courtroom and like,
Yeah, but also his street smarts versus like the simple nature
Yes.
of this town. You know, he's like, "How about I just kick your ass?" Like, "Oh, you want to negotiate?" And then he's like, "Well, is that what you want to do?" He's like,
counteroffer.
"Fuck you." You know, they don't understand that he's dismantling them
Yeah.
with his words, like you said,
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen in the courtroom.
That very true. Yeah.
It's the same thing as what he explained. He does this to everybody. He shows the bricks. He sees the bricks. He sees the bullshit. He's going to dismantle what you're trying to do, and he will do it. It's amazing.
No, you're
more Marissa Tomei, the faucet torque talk.
Never been so turned on.
No. I mean, her outfits in this, man.
I know.
The best one is the flower oneie
Yep.
when they're in the woods. That's
Yep.
just like, wow, you're the only one that can do that. And I'm glad you're doing that.
She still looks like this.
Yeah.
You know.
It's fucking nuts, dude.
know.
My wife was watching it, and she's like, that's like from Amazing Spider-Man,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, yeah. She's like, wow. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, Aunt May. So is Aunt May Aunt Marissa Tomei, and that must mean that Vinny was
Uncle Bob or whatever.
Uncle Vinny then.
Yeah.
Uncle, what's his name?
Isn't there an uncle in the first Spider-Man?
Yeah, it's Uncle.
Oh yeah, well maybe what if it is?
But he got shot.
Well,
You know,
alternate
Uncle Ben.
universe, man.
Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben, thank you. Yes.
There you go. See,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
This is a fun meeting when he gets to meet with Trotter, and I like that it is showing us how skillful he is at people, Vinny, and like overtaking, but he still is not smart in the courtroom.
No, he's
and I
not
like
book
that
smart.
they at least will show us that, and the fact that he's gonna waste an entire day and morning going hunting with Trotter, something he doesn't even want to do, something his girlfriend is against. Marissa Tomei creating male vegan since 1992.
Oh yeah.
but he wastes this entire day to get the files, and all he had to do, it was something Marissa, like Mona Lisa even knew, like, dude, it's called disclosure.
He has to give you his files.
them.
So you can't have any surprises. He has to, you fucking moron.
I like that they still paint him in a lot of these movies would be like, oh, he picks up real quick. He learned real quick.
Yeah.
But this is like, no, he still sucks in the courtroom. He's not good.
The fact that he's like, and let's be real. And again, classic. He like kind of sells it even to Mona Lisa of just like the schmoozing. He's like, yeah. He's like, so we're getting there. We're getting cozy. We're getting to know each other. And I just say, and he literally says in the car, he's like, I sure would like to get a look at your files. Oh, you would, huh?
He immediately picks up the phone.
You got Xerox over there? Oh, don't worry. I'll have my secretary do it.
Lane Smith. It's got to be his like
Dude,
third, right?
Lane is, I think this is fourth. He was Mayor Bates in Red Dawn.
Yeah.
Obviously, Coach Riley in the Ducks, and he was the dad and son-in-law.
Yeah.
You want to take a second on Lane Smith because,
Dude.
guys, I used to hate Lane Smith mostly because of like him being Coach Riley in the Ducks.
Yeah.
I just kind of thought he was that guy, but Lane Smith might be one of my favorite on-screen lawyer prosecutors that I've ever seen. Like, he's fucking good at
He's
his
really
job
good.
in this movie.
So
Yeah.
good. And he's also so funny. This heinous crime.
Highness.
Heinous crime.
I like when he's interviewing the lady about, well, if we prove without a doubt that this happened, she goes, fry him. She'll do.
She'll do.
He's fucking awesome at this role, and I like that they don't paint him as a bad guy. Like he's
Right.
They could have easily painted this as like I'm gonna take you down, stupid
No, he's
Vinny.
doing his job. He's the
doing his-
DA. Yeah.
And he seems genuinely like kind of happy that it worked out for the better when the movie's over.
Of course.
Like he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
But they could have gone the opposite direction. He
definitely.
could have made a villain out of this guy.
It's fine. Like it's one of those things. In the end, the guy doesn't want to lose. He's still competitive enough, but he is a good person who realizes, oh, this is what's going on, and now it's irrefutable later. You know, in the end, and he's like drops all charges, and he's happy to do it. You
Yeah.
know,
He should be.
Yeah,
That is
correct.
his job.
It's
He's
his
like,
job.
I'm here to prosecute, but if
For
I'm not going to
innocence.
prosecute the wrong people.
correct.
Yes.
Yeah, and that
If-
is
yeah.
a great thing to see.
If Vinny makes a more compelling argument than I can, I lose. I have to concede because that's 2 people that are gonna die.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gordon Bombay would not have done that.
No.
No, Gordon Bombay would have been like, "Don't care. We're gonna fry these kids."
Correct.
Yes.
He's not. He's going 31-0. Okay. The other part. So, well, are we finally into the court though yet?
We've been in the court. We haven't gotten into the full blown trial yet.
We've done. You're supposed to dress accordingly. You were serious about that?
You're serious about that?
I fucking love it. Just on the bus again.
That is pretty awesome that he's not caring that he's going to jail.
He's
surrounded
actually
by
a
2
little more
dudes who are
comfortable.
afraid for their fucking lives.
The fact that he's when they show him that he's like sleeping soundly in that noisy ass jail cell. It's like that's just what he's used to somehow, like the noise of the city. What?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
maybe
know?
it is. People yelling outside his window.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a little later, so sorry if I'm getting into it, but like when they're at the cabin and it's the owl.
Oh, dude.
It's just like a horrible screech, but I love he just comes out fucking blasted.
And he's got like white high top tennis basketball shoes
And it's
on.
a great shot too because it's the owl in the foreground and him in the back.
And
you
I
know?
guess that was a real owl that they had trained so that it wouldn't fly away when he shoots the blanks.
It's perfect. It's such a funny shot.
The way he walks back in with like a swagger is just like,
Got him.
ah.
Well, that is actually where we're at here on scene 4. So after spending the night in a cabin and accidentally messing up his suit, he wears a secondhand tuxedo to court. The public defender is not doing well, but Vinny has started to succeed with his arguments about grits with a witness. Winnie's cross-examinations of the remaining eyewitnesses are similarly effective and respectful. He's able to prove their testimonies unreliable. Trotter shoots back and produces a surprise witness, George Wilbur, an FBI analyst who testifies about tire comparisons, putting the boys' jeopardy in fate. My question for you is, of all the places that they stay, which one are you picking?
Oh, okay.
You've got the hotel room next to the train tracks. You've got the cabin with the screaming owls. You've got the one next to the factory and the pig slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
You're picking the cabin?
I'm going cabin. Well, maybe the hotel with like the balcony. That was pretty sick.
I mean, guys, if you've ever slept next to train tracks, it's a beautiful thing. If you like
You like
trains, if you like trains as much as I do, man, you're gonna wake up for that 5
I
a.m.
like
train,
trains
bro.
in the distance.
Dude,
I like train horns and the rattling of the sound.
dude, that one is right outside your window.
Yeah.
That
See,
way you'll never sleep through it. So you
this
can always
is-
wake up to go see the train go by.
This is the Alabama equivalent of Elwood Blues' apartment.
Yes.
man. Like, that is what this is.
You get used to it.
And by the way, the line of it's like, does that train always come through at 5 a.m.? No, sir. It's very unusual. It's just like, okay.
Did you notice the second time?
Supposed to come in 10 after 4.
No, yeah, that's the second time he comes through when he walks down and starts dinging it. It's just like the ding of a train bell. Ding, 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 ding. And that is when Jarrett pointed it out. I didn't realize it till I looked it up. But Joe Pesci very much has taped his eyes back in a lot of scenes. And you see it, especially in that scene, because apparently they're like 22 years apart in real life or something like that. And he wanted to be the appearance that he was like 30. And like, I just don't buy it at all that he's not only with Marissa Tomei, but like that he's young. But I just accept it.
I don't buy that he's young. I do buy that they're together because
Yeah.
I think that it works. I think their chemistry is pretty off the charts in my opinion. I mean, like
He's
physically
shitty to her though, man.
physically chemistry together. Maybe I can't really see it all too often, but like even when she's like cuddling him and like laughing that the fucking what's happening outside is whatever.
Pig farm, maybe at that
pig
point
farm,
or whatever.
She's like like fucking like she just thinks it's funny, you know? I don't know. I think that it's like almost complete opposites, but they have the one thing in common, you know?
Yeah, I buy it. I don't buy it in the I never thought of it in the sense of they're trying to make him look like he is like 30s.
No.
I never really took it that way. I always took it as he is like just a little older than what she is.
Yeah.
And like they're together and like she's just into older men. Who knows? Like,
But he's just really. At no point am I like, man, he's really sweet to her. she I mean, maybe I missed it, but for the most part, like she didn't have to come, and she doesn't have to help, but she's like trying her best to like support him and be like, come on, you can do this. And I go to court every day, and I'm reading these books, and I'm going to try to help you. And he never once is like, thank you for everything you do. You know, like, thank you for coming here.
Until the end, I think their chemistry is the fact that, like, in the torque with the faucet thing, I think that's where they
like to argue.
I think it is.
Well, and I don't think that that's something. I think that must be the allure from her to him, though.
Yeah.
Too. She grew up in a garage. Her dad was a mechanic. Her brothers are mechanics. Everyone's yelling at each other. Like it's an Italian, like, New York garage, and everyone's a mechanic, and everyone knows. Like, that is, that's just got to be a constant, like, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
It's what she grew up with, what she knows.
You know, women always trying to date somebody that reminds them of their dad.
The bad boys, you know,
bad boy dads, apparently.
Yeah,
so.
bad boy daddies.
I don't know. I just didn't like that he never really seems to be loving towards her, but that's just me. Because I would make sure that I was.
I think
every
it's a
day.
different kind.
I would kiss her feet and make sure that she never walked on mud.
Well,
I'd put my jacket down in the mud for her to walk.
Well, he put himself in the mud for her.
She tried to do something nice by like pressing his suit for him, and he got mad at her for it.
I don't think he got mad at her, but he got mad at himself.
I mean, when my wife, I buy like a Blu-ray and I sit it on the coffee table. The next day, it's not there. It's not in my Blu-ray room. It's not like anywhere else. Not anywhere I would look. It's like buried underneath books. I'm like, what the fuck? How would I ever find that if you didn't tell me where you put it?
Yeah.
You know? I appreciate that. But tell me. Like, I didn't know you did that. I didn't know that my suit was back here.
Look, the effort is there. Communicate.
Yes.
All right. What's the pink bag that I know my suit is in? Why is my suit in a pink bag in the trunk? Oh, I got it pressed. I thought it'd be a nice surprise. Yeah, surprise. It's fucked now.
Just give it to me. Just be like, did this for you. Here you go.
I appreciate it, but I'm pissed. And I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the situation. Well, you're just yelling at me. I'm not yelling at you.
But this, obviously, you needed this because this leads to him being in a courtroom with the red leisure suit.
You get your fucking tie, I'll get your fucking suit.
And there's the love, man.
Yes, that's what I think too.
There is the love. I got 30 minutes. I got 30 fucking minutes to get to fucking shower, fucking find a new suit, and fucking get into the courtroom. You fucking shower. I'll get your fucking suit. That's love. There it is, man.
Instead of arguing for another 5 minutes.
Correct.
About, well, it wasn't my fault. It's like, I know, we don't care.
Nobody cares anymore. We have to move on.
I love him coming in here and is just like had it with the town, with everybody, with the judge. It's just so good. Like I'm holding you in contempt. There's a fucking surprise.
That was a surprise.
What was that? What? What did you say? What did I say? What? It's so good.
I can't tell you how many times I did this to teachers.
Like, fuck you. What?
What?
What'd you say?
It was literally verbatim because I took it from this movie.
Yeah, of course.
If you ever say, if people are ever saying, kids don't take anything from movies, that's a lie. It's like, no, we do.
Dude, I say Utes all of the time.
We do.
Utes.
And I will tell you, I can't tell you how many times verbatim I would literally say, like, oh, there's a fucking surprise. And then the teacher's like, what'd you say, Mr. Vance? And I said, what?
What'd you say?
What did I say?
You said something just now. What'd you?
No. Hey, Bill, did I say anything? No, did you hear me say anything?
And then I look over and somebody's just like, what did I say?
But
Did I say something?
this is like a turning point in the movie, though, man, because he has totally had it, and he doesn't care anymore. He's wearing a red leisure suit in a courtroom. He doesn't even care anymore. But this is when he starts to like really figure it out.
Turns it on here.
I love that. Like he finally like has the attitude in the like he goes. He asked the guy something like, "Would you say that?" He goes, "Yeah, you could say that." He goes, "I did say that. Would you say that?"
Yeah.
I just that's like intimidating. Like Yeah, I guess I would say that.
And bringing all this in too, where he starts to become the lawyer that he is. After this comedic scene of him, like, what I say, what? That's really funny. And then like once it cuts to like the the interviews, the witness stand,
yeah.
The camera's like high above and seeing like the court and the judge and the pews and whatever, and then starts to kind of like dramatically come down as Lane Smith is like,
whoa, okay.
But it's like the comedy is going down to like the dramatic courtroom drama. You know, it was just like a subtle cool thing where it's like you would see that shot and like maybe even Judge Judy just be like,
okay, yeah,
or like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Like the drama starts.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It was just like a nice subtle kind of thing.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's a good point. Like I love those. I love those tricks. I love when it brings it down in, and it. I think that there's also this.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was just seeing something.
Well, it's also the moment like it's very funny him explaining why he's in this suit and why he and dealing with, but it's a great precursor. It's like that is actually when he starts to become a great lawyer or whatnot. It's like a precursor. It's like a prologue to him just really tearing into this court because he's like. He's just spitting facts.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and so the only place to get a suit has the flu. You get that? The entire fucking store has the flu. The only other place to get a flu is the secondhand store. And like going through it and just kind of really laying it all out. And like, and then we get his cross examinations that are just brilliant.
Everything that guy said is fucking bullshit. So good.
I mean, yeah, it's great. Man, and then you get the introduction of Austin Pendleton, who is John Gibbons. Did you see? I had to read about this first and then go back and look at it. But when he starts to do his stuttering, and like he comes over and he like hits the guy, the juror
for support.
Yes, you can see blurred out in the background the three of them: Joe Pesci, Ralph Macchio, Mitchell Whitfield are dying laughing. They are, and in fact, he doesn't. When he finally stops talking and turns around and walks over, Michael Whitfield, who plays Stan, like smiles at him and goes. He goes like, "That was really like." He was saying how funny that was.
Oh, okay.
But they left it in there, like they are dying laughing in the background because it's so goddamn funny.
His performance is incredible, and like before we get more into his performance, like the writing of this to be like, well, Stan has taken another lawyer, and he's like, oh, okay, well, let's see how this goes. Like he's gonna be like a stripped down kind of like serious lawyer, probably like Lane Smith, you know, in this town. And I can just see like the writer writing this be like, no, he's actually fucking bullshit too.
Oh yeah,
like, we have to get him out. We have to get him. We have to show how much better Vinny has gotten now to where we don't need this guy.
Even
that
compared
we all thought we needed.
To if he didn't see Vinny actually kind of kill it, it would still be better than the stuttering guy.
Ladies and gentlemen of the
Juror. Because he looks like he might actually be a good attorney if he didn't stutter, though. That's the shitty
He
part.
walks up there with so much confidence. He's just like,
and you, of course, know Austin Pendleton from Christmas with the Cranks.
Oh, I love him.
of course.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah, that's how I
that's
know
his
him.
other major role.
Definitely. I was like, wow, what's he even doing in this movie? He should just be in that movie.
He
'cause
should.
It's a masterpiece.
Marty. Yeah.
Marty, Santa Claus.
Everyone knows
basically.
Marty.
Everybody knows Marty.
Oh yeah. Oh, man.
But coincidental and thank you.
Yeah, there's a moment where he like gets upset with himself. He's like,
No further questions.
No further questions.
But it does set it up really well because then this is when
what the fuck was that? I stutter a little bit. I'm getting
I get
better.
a little nervous and a little nervous.
But it sets it up because then this is when Vinny actually starts killing it.
Yeah.
And this is what I love about courtroom stuff. When you have this moment where Vinny actually talks about the 20-minute grits versus the 5-minute grits.
Yeah.
like that gets me so fired up. I don't know why. I love that shit so much.
And when he says, "I'm sorry,
my grits."
I'm sorry, I was all the way over here." It's like, can you say it again? You say you're a fast cook? That's it? Are we to believe that the laws of physics don't exist on your stove? It's like
The entire
That's enough. How long did it take you?
Are you sure about that 5 minutes?
The entire grit cooking nation doesn't do it as good as you do.
Yeah, it's just
That's enough.
I think you made your point. Just really like hammering through, and
So good.
this is one of my. I'll take it back. I don't know. I say this maybe too often in the show, but one of AJ's most favorite movie facts of all time is the fact that this is maybe one of the most accurate like litigation that they show literally in classrooms. They show like and not only just like good cross-examination, but he doesn't just kind of root these guys out, like these witnesses, right? These eyewitnesses. He dismantles them. He disqualifies them.
Yeah.
They are disqualified.
Their testimony
no
is
longer credible witnesses.
Thrown out. Yeah, discredited 100%. So it is a full-on like, no, this is how it is done.
Don't just refute the evidence. Like,
Right.
get it thrown out.
Get it thrown out and basically have every single one of them. If you look at the end of every single one, his goal is for them to admit that they were wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he says, "I may have been mistaken," and it's just like, there it is.
We can't have
there
you
it is.
anymore.
We can't because it's no longer.
Yes, it's not credible anymore.
Right.
With the old lady, like, I'm over here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Over here, sweetheart.
And he knew right then. He's like, got it.
Yeah.
I know exactly where this is going.
And that's the thing. And she even says like, I think I may need a thicker set. You know,
Yeah.
like that's Your Honor, please. When he said, "Let the record show," he's on the 2 fingers. He's like, God damn it!
He's like, I'm doing a thing.
It's the thing, man.
I love when he's like, he's done his job or whatever. He's like, are you sure about that 5 minutes? I may have been mistaken. I got no more use for this guy.
got no more use for this. Keeps it very New York, doesn't it? Yeah. I got no more use for
Fuck
this
yeah,
guy.
dude. That's so good.
So you mean to tell me that you can make a positive ID behind all these crud-covered windows, this screen, it's like all these trees with all these leaves, and I don't know how many bushes.
Let's count. Let's count.
5? Don't forget this one and this one. 7. It's just making fun of this man's house.
Yes. I got no more use for this guy.
I got no more use for this guy.
Well, let's do the final scene then. So after fighting with Mona Lisa, she storms out, leaving Vinny alone. Back in court, he has an epiphany that the photo actually holds the key to the case, bringing her back as an expert in automobiles. During Vinny's questioning, Lisa comes to the same conclusion and proves that it was a different car. Vinny recalls the FBI analyst who corroborates Lisa's testimony. After bringing it to the stand, Sheriff Farley about 2 other possible suspects, Trotter then respectfully moves to dismiss all charges. The film concludes with Holler apologizing for doubting Vinny and praising his skills as a litigator. Vinny and Lisa drive off together, bickering about their future wedding plans.
Yeah, you were talking about it, AJ, when he's interviewing that guy. He's like, don't be afraid to shout him out when you know him. He's like, what are these? Trees?
Trees?
What are these? Bushes. Yeah, it's good. Don't be afraid.
Shout him out. Yeah, just,
Good job. Yeah, you did it. It is pretty great though, because he pulls out all these witnesses, basically makes their testimony go null and void. But then Trotter brings in the FBI agent, and that's when it's like, oh shit, like we got problems here, and it actually looks like we're gonna have trouble.
Preston's dad.
This is what,
right.
of course.
That's right.
Hit that motherfucking button, dog.
Uh-oh.
If we were on a train to go punch a face, I'm on board.
That's what I'm talking about.
I simultaneously think that this is the most punchable face of the movie, just because he does a Wooderson breaking down the cars, like miles of track, like his like cadence, the way he talks makes me hate him so much.
That thing turbocharged?
Yes.
Only on 4 miles.
Only 4 miles. Dude, like it's simultaneously like so cringy, but he's so fucking good at it.
I know.
I love what's his goddamn name? Oh man, that is James Redhorn.
Yeah.
Seen him before in movies.
Yeah.
Third,
Air Force
third
One.
movie he's been
Third.
in. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Air Force One. You're correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love his performance in this, but also he is a most punchable face for me.
Oh man, that's a good one. Most punchable face for me. I don't know. It might be Mr. Tipton.
That's where Jarrett's going with it. Sam
Yeah.
Tipton. Yeah.
Tipton.
Tipton. Devin Carlisle says he's going Jimmy half cup shithouse attitude Willis, the kid that already dies. He wants to punch the kid that died because he filled up the half cup.
You know what? Yeah, fucking half cup. He kind of deserves a punch, but I was like, oh, he didn't need to get killed.
He just needs a punch.
He just
man.
need to get punched.
I might actually agree with Sean on that. I think, and it's something about that's one of my least favorite accents. And sorry to anybody out there, but when you say tars, the tars, when you got that going, that's
Tars.
like, man. But we checked the composite on the tars. The what? The tires. Oh, the tires?
Yeah.
No, the tars.
Tars.
That gets me a little
The two
bit.
what?
To what? I like that though.
I also have
Michelin style XG4 75R.
you have to
14.
learn it. You have to learn it.
Michelin XG4.
I also have a lovable face.
Okay, so does Devin. Who do you got, man?
It's the bailiff.
Dude, that's exactly who he's got.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean he's pretty. I do like the
I love his.
oh, whoops. Yeah, sit over there. Yes, of course.
He's right here. He's so nice.
All rise while the judge leaves. That's just like
Yeah, he's pretty great, and it does gets a little sketchy here. But this is when I also dislike Vinny the most is how he treats Mona Lisa. Like
He really does get pissed at her for no fucking
for
reason.
Yeah.
no reason, man. She's been here all along trying to help you out. And in fact, what she did by being here is the only reason you're going to win this case is because she took those pictures. And you just treat her like shit.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
the only so there is one part though that's really funny. Even my wife was like agreed was when they're on the deck and she's like, my niece 10 years got married. It's like, at this time I ain't ever getting married. And he's just like, well, I don't need this. I don't need this right now. It's like we're down here. It's like we got the lives of two young innocent men.
Two Utes.
Two U's. It's like my career, our marriage, our life. It's like, is there any more shit we could pile on? Is there any more shit? Is there any more shit? Maybe it was a bad time to bring it up. Even
And
my
he kind of
you.
smiles. He
Thank
side
you.
smiles.
Yeah. He's like, great. Even my wife was like, yeah, you think?
Yeah, exactly.
And I kind of the same
Yeah.
for this, a little bit.
She-
I'm more
but-
on her side.
She is still saying, like, is there anything I could do to help?
Yes.
You know,
And it's I just need to concentrate. And she realizes that he's too far into his own bullshit into his head, you
Yeah.
know, and is like, well, let me break you out of it. Maybe I can inject something that you didn't think of, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a little shitty to her.
It is pretty great when he does bring her to the stand and the Trotter gets to investigate her and make sure she is the witness.
Yes.
I love that moment because he knows how this is going to go. He knows she's going to answer any question he could possibly think of. He tries to think of some impossible question for her to answer. And as she answers it, he goes back in his chair. Yep.
Watch
Knew that was good.
this.
Yeah, the witness will suffice as an expert. Okay. Yeah.
She'll do for the.
She'll do. Yeah, and that's so great because that's the perfect setup then for her to figure this. He doesn't even tell her what to look for. He just knows she's gonna see it in the photo, and it's pretty amazing that not only he knew it, but he knew that she would know it and she would figure it out on the stand.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful moment.
His cross-examination with the old lady too, like you were saying a little bit, like the tape measure and everything, like he's just schooling everything. And this is where Marissa just won an award.
This is
best-
This
It
is
is.
the scene right here. Yes.
This is this scene it's amazing, right? Like, this is an amazing scene. The only thing I have to say though is and I'll take it back. In reality, Vinny knew, he figured this out, right? He knew this, but he needed somebody to basically kind of corroborate it, like in a professional standpoint.
Of course, yeah.
Right?
For him to sit there and try to argue it himself, he needed someone to actually be another person to corroborate it.
Wouldn't it be just as simple or just as easy to bring back up the other guy, Wilbur, what's his name?
I don't know if
and have
he's
him bring
assuming
up,
that he would know that, maybe. Like, he knew she would know it, and she would emphatically explain it.
And that's a good point. But even in the sense of, like, if he knows it and he says, he's like, yes or no, like, these marks had to be made by a car that has posi traction.
Yeah, correct.
And he's like, well, yeah, absolutely, it would definitely. I was like, so can you tell me, does the Buick 64 like actually have posi track on this model?
It almost doesn't have the same effect, does it? The fact that and the coolest part is that she's basically saying that the defense is wrong.
Right.
You know, and that's a really cool moment to be like, no, they're wrong. Whoa, and he's happy about it because he's like, yeah, we are wrong because we took the wrong angle.
Why are we wrong?
And that turns into their like kind of relationship thing with the faucet. It turns into that where he's like a contentious kind of thing. He's like, "Are you sure about that?" Like,
I guess the fucking thing is broken.
It's like it's like it's like their foreplay. You know,
it is.
And it's coming back here right now. I love it.
It's just more emotional than having fucking Rebhorn up there.
Yeah.
It's going to make
100%.
a way bigger impact on the jury and the rest of the courtroom.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. No, he would have gotten to the same place, but not as big of an impact.
Right. And that's maybe my only thing of like he had to struggle to get her to go back in there and everything.
Yeah.
And do that. And maybe it was also like time to kill kind of a thing while the sheriff was like looking for the other car.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe that's another point of it too. But at the same time, it just I was kind of thinking about that. I was like, they had an already like credible witness. They didn't have to go through the process of like getting her like
Well, now essentially he's got two because he can bring her up and then he can bring him back up to be like, is she correct?
There it is. Okay, double down.
So double down because maybe if you only bring him up, this trial maybe drags on a little bit further. But today they're just like, drop all charges.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Win it today.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
The state would like to dismiss all charges.
Dismiss all charges.
And munch on some grindage.
It's not worth winning if you can't win big. Just a montage of
Just Lane Smith just doing Lane Smith. Hyenas crime. And tore out of there. Anyway.
I wish they'd take that one down.
And tore out of there in great haste. Identical.
He's so
further
good, man. He's so good. The evidence will show. Oh, man. Well, do you got anything else you want to say on My Cousin Vinny here?
I have one other thing to say, and it was, it's kind of in the end, another great through line of the judge trying to find him out, and then the Jerry Gallo. I said Jerry Callo. That joke is very funny. But in the end, it's like, he says, like, oh, well, I really wanted to win my first case just without anybody's help. And it's like, well, technically, he kind of did. Judge Malloy calling in,
right,
or writing the letter or doing whatever he did didn't necessarily affect the outcome of the case. Like, so I didn't know what he was kind of bugging about at that point.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that doesn't make sense. You're pointing it out makes sense. Yeah, it's weird, but also he brings back the lines, win some, lose some. He'd be a hell of a trial lawyer. He's like, thanks, I hope we can do it again sometime.
I owe you an apology. He says to stage like, hey, of course, I hope we can do it again sometime.
I did read that they were apparently good friends in real life.
Who?
Pesci and
Fred Gwynn?
Gwynn, yeah.
Oh, man.
I guess they were friends. Which imagine seeing those two together, 6'5" and 5'3".
Dude, it'd be like it'd be like another version of Twins.
I would have taken that.
Oh my god,
I
I
wanna
would
see that.
take that all day.
The only thing I hate is the song at the end. It's like a song for the movie. He's like, and a big city guy comes down to a small city, does the warrior thing. Like, it's like,
and he's got a lot of lawyering to do before he goes.
fish out of water.
it is unique that apparently this movie did so well that they were talking about a sequel.
Oh man.
And I guess they wanted it to be like another fish out of water where he goes to New York or he goes to England and he's practicing law in England. It's so funny. And everybody just kind of went, listen, we got really lucky.
We
with
nailed
this.
it.
we got so lucky that this turned out well. We're done. I think most people kind of said, that's it.
This big city fish is going across the pond into a crocodile pit. Oh.
He's messed with a judge, but has he crossed a constable?
Oh.
I don't know what things are over there.
My Cousin Vinny too, lost in Liverpool.
Yeah, lost in Liverpool. My Cousin Vinny meets the Queen.
Gross. Well, we have dissected My Cousin Vinny with a modern eye. Time to give it a modern day rating. Sean, starting with you, what do you got to say about this thing, man?
This movie still works, man. I think it's fucking hilarious. I still can't believe that it is a courtroom drama, but I will return to it whenever. I think about this movie a lot. Quotable lines. Marissa Tomei is fucking outstanding. The rest of the cast is amazing. It's just a good, fun movie, and why not, man? This is a 7.7 for me.
7.7 for Sean. What do you got, Age?
This is a toughie. This is a really good movie. It's funny that you mentioned this along with Elf, as I've been kind of like reviewing where I really want to put this. There's a couple of places that I just kind of go back and forth on. I think that this movie definitely still holds up. I think it's still, again, it's one of my favorite movie factoids of how they use this in courtroom, for litigation.
That's cool.
It's really, really neat. It's like number 3 on the list of like most accurate courtroom movies.
A Few Good Men maybe on there.
Yeah. And Joe Pesci's hilarious. You do not get the back and forth of you don't get what you get, I don't think, out of Joe Pesci without Marissa Tomei. You don't get it with Marissa Tomei without Joe Pesci. I think they're a great dynamic. An amazing support cast. Like, everything is pretty much awesome. I don't know, man. I revisit this movie pretty regularly. I waited on revisiting it because I was hoping it was going to be coming up on the show, and I'm so glad that we did it. This movie lands at about a perfect 7.95.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
7.95. Yeah, this is one of those rare movies where a lot of times when by the way, I have 40 movies that we've done I have not seen. I'm just completely surpassing all of you guys. I'm almost doubling up you two together in movies.
You're
I've
the
not
luckiest
seen.
one of us.
That's
Yeah,
true.
but sometimes I know when I watch it, I'm like, I'm going to like this better 2, 3, 4, 5 times down the road. But on this one, I loved it right out of the gate.
Nice.
I loved it right out of the gate, man. I mean, there are a couple small problems, but the movie swiftly moves along, gets right into everything you want. It's got the jokes. I'm realizing how much I really do love like courtroom drama stuff, man. Like, it's a lot of fun. I'm gonna go 7.6 on this. Like, I very much enjoyed this movie. We got to check with Michael Giuliano. He said this movie has been a family favorite since watching it all those years ago in Maine, but it's definitely been a while since I've last seen it. Not that I was worried about forgetting any major plot points or anything like that. This movie has wormed its way into pop culture and the collective minds of pretty much every moviegoer out there. I'm pretty sure that this is one of those movies where you could grab any person off the street and ask them if they knew what the basic plot was, and they'd be able to give it to you. I know that the fact that everybody loves to throw out about this movie is that it's so realistic about how courtroom proceedings go, they show it in law school. While that may be true, I can vouch that this movie is probably the most perfect fish out of water movie out there, and a copy should be given to everybody from the North who decides to move down to the South. Case in point, my first 2 years of college were spent at a tiny college in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina. I'm pretty sure after my first breakfast of biscuits and gravy, I sent a picture in a mass email to my family with the caption, "Are these guys down here aware of the ongoing cholesterol problem in the country?" And the movie definitely prepared me for grits being an everyday food down there. On another level, I'm 99% sure that this movie is an indoctrination tool for Italian-American men and women to really try and drive home the point that at our core, we're supposed to be loud, obnoxious, argumentative, passionate, and caring people for those we care about. Because with every rewatch, I come out of it loving Mona Lisa more and more, and I'm afraid no woman I will ever meet will compare to a fictional, out-of-work hairdresser who can make Fred Gwynn fumble his words. I'm seriously one bad hinge date away from making my first prompt, my biological clock is ticking like this. And I'm praying somebody gets the reference. Side note, did anybody else know that Joe Pesci and Marissa Tomei are 22 years apart? Either he has a great wig and makeup or their chemistry is that good together, because I never really noticed before this watch. Also, I'm going to say that this movie holds the distinction of having maybe the holy trinity of that guy characters in it. Lane Smith, James Rebhorn, and Bruce McGill.
Yeah.
All three have supporting roles, and all three make their presence known every time they're on screen. So yeah, not much else to say about this one. Like I said before, this is one of the movies that stuck with my family since its first viewing, and I don't see any of that changing. Sadly, my cousin Vinny passed away unexpectedly a few years ago, way too young. So this is one of the movies we like to pull up when we feel like bringing in some of his memories. To this day, my other cousin Nick will still burst out, "I bet the Chinese food here is terrible," whenever we're driving through the middle of nowhere. And when we're singling out an individual for questioning, they might get a "and only Miss Riley." Mrs. Riley. It's tough to strip away the nostalgia completely, but unlike the defense case, this movie actually holds water. My modern day rating, 8.85.
Let's
yeah,
go.
And I actually like that he's doing that, because he's bringing us up. So we're going to be an 8.03.
All right.
Guys, 8.03 is going to take this tied in the 55th spot with Field of Dreams. We do think that The Matrix and Role Models are better movies, but we do think this is better than Home Alone 2, Election, and Blazing Saddles.
It
Wow.
landed directly on my rating list, because I was looking at Election. It was 7.8 for me, and Role Models was
right, doesn't it?
7.6. Yeah,
Man.
it feels good.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for being here. Tune in next week. We are hitting Best in Show, followed by Blast from the Past and Fight Club. It's going to be a good couple weeks. Oof. And if you're new to the podcast, go back this time last year. Speaking of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, I don't know if I mentioned that. It was kind of on the list there. We did a movie review with Gareth Reynolds. First time we ever met the guy. It's a hilarious episode that happened a year ago. Go check it out.
Hell yeah, super fun.
Yeah?
Please and thank you.
Well, thanks for Brian on the controls. UploadMediaGroup.com. Learn more there. Check out our network at cloud10.fm. And that's it. Avoid Alabama if you can.
Yeah, don't do it.
Thanks again for listening, guys. We really appreciate it. Make sure you're checking us out on YouTube, here in the studio, hanging out with us live and in person in the studs. Check us out on social media. Search for Confused Breakfast at Confused Breakfast anywhere on social media. And please leave us a review. 5 stars on any platform that you're listening on. Write us a comment on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. Write us a review. We love to read them.
Go to confusedbreakfast.com as well to see the merch that we have. You can see the shirts. We have new shirts up there. It's awesome. I believe it. You can go to confusedbreakfast.com as well to see the ratings of the movies that we have covered. You can see AJ's ratings. You can see Mike's ratings. And you can see my ratings and the show's ratings overall. Goodbye. I love you.
Thanks to Brian on the controls here at Upload Media Group. Learn more at uploadmediagroup.com. And learn more about our network Cloud10 at cloud10.fm. We love you so much. Go on to the next video.